Vanadium carbide sit at 2800 Vickers and aluminum oxide at 2000. A waterstone is not cutting those carbides, it's cutting everything around them. So what does an apex full of exposed carbides do when you actually use it? I put the Spyderco Native 5 in CPM 15V and the microscope to work to find out. Because we're testing apex stability, we need a test that focuses more on deformation than abrasion. Cardboard is mainly an abrasive test. Sisal rope is abrasive too, but it puts much more mechanical stress on the apex. I sharpened this Native 5 with 15V steel on a Sharpel 202H system with a 70-degree angle. I finished with a 3000 grit aluminum oxide stone, and then I stropped it on 3 micron green compounds, and then I did a cut test on 8mm Sisal rope. I will compare my results to Pete's from Cedric and Ada. He did 2000 cuts on 10mm Sisal rope. The link is in the description. He also used a 17-degree angle and a mirror polish, and I assume he did a grit progression until 1500 grit and then started stropping. So to me, this seems similar enough. Because of the difference in Sisal rope thickness, of course, we will have to normalize the cuts. Sisal rope is not a line, it's a circle, so that means that every cut on 10mm is about the equivalent of 1.56 cuts on 8mm. So to have similar results, I would need 3125 cuts with this edge on my rope. That's a lot. So first, we should make sure the edge is burr-free after stropping. For this, we will use low magnification to check the entire edge, and this is at 5x magnification. So here you can see the heel of the knife. It's not a perfect job, and that's my fault. That's fine, we will not be using this part of the edge for cutting anyway. So other than that, it is burr-free. And here you can see the middle part. It's also burr-free, and even at this magnification, you can see the exposed carbides. All that white stuff is carbides. You can see the concentration at the edge, and that's because I slightly seem to have over-angled when I was stropping freehand. That should actually make the apex slightly stronger. And then finally, this is the business part. This is the part we will actually be doing the cutting with. As you can see, there is no burr to be seen. This is that sharpened edge at 20x magnification, and you can clearly see a huge amount of exposed carbides. So research going back more than 60 years has shown that large carbides can act as crack initiation sites. Perhaps in this one you can see the carbides even better. So if edge stability is compromised by these exposed carbides, perhaps cracks are the mechanism by which this is achieved. Before we destroy this edge, if you like this kind of microscope-based knife testing, please subscribe. Now, let's cut some rope. So, I started cutting and cutting and cutting. It just continued endlessly. And I'm not used to this, so I was not wearing gloves in the beginning. I developed blisters on my hands and fingers. I will spare you the entire footage, but eventually we arrived here. So as you can see, the knife is catching in 2 locations now. I'm marking both locations so that I can check them under the microscope to see what has happened here. So the cutting is done. I cannot say I'm sad about that. So okay, first I used a zoom microscope and I spotted a location on the edge that had some paper fibers stuck to it. You can see it here. But even zoomed in, I cannot see what's going on. So very likely this is exactly where the knife got stuck. I will wash the edge so we can see what's underneath. So here we can see the edge washed and in low magnification overview. You can see the horizontal lines. That's where the Sisal rope abraded the edge. There seem to be 2 chips in the location where the paper fibers were attached. Other than that, part of the edge seems to have folded over. So let's zoom in. It becomes more clear here. To the right, the apex is still straight. And then you can see, for the next part, that the yield strength has been exceeded and the steel has been deformed. And then you can see 2 chips that make the paper catch in this location. So here you can see it under 50x magnification. So this is classic plastic deformation damage. The steel bends and rolls, and eventually the deformed apex fractures. So let's go to this second location. So the story seems to be similar at first. So let's zoom in on the right-hand side here. So the straight apex deforms and rolls over, just like the first location. And then you can see it more clearly in this picture. So I only stacked the edge in this one. That's why, to save time, that's why the bottom part of the edge looks blurry. But then apparently something different has happened. When you look at the left-hand side here, you can see the horizontal abrasion lines of the Sisal rope intersecting with the apex. There is more curvature at this point, so the Sisal strands do not run parallel during the slicing motion anymore. So let's zoom in on that. And here we can see that this folded over apex has been abraded by the Sisal rope. So this is a different kind of edge damage here. I think this abraded part is the second catch location. You can see some paper fibers attached to it. So on this run, it seems that it only stopped cutting paper once the deformations had either chipped or abraded. So to me, that's interesting. Of course, this is only one run, so it's not something I can attach big conclusions to. Okay, so that's the damage. Now, how many cuts did it take to get to this damage? Well, 1,450 cuts on 8mm Sisal rope. So now, if we recalculate that to compensate for the lower thickness compared to Pete's 10mm rope, we arrive at 928 cuts versus Pete's 2,000 cuts. Now, I know this is not a perfect comparison. It's not the same knife. Pete used a PM2, and this is a native, obviously. It might have a slightly different heat treat going on, and Pete's 1500 grit to my 3000 is another difference. So ideally, I would just have cut tested this again on this knife after sharpening it on my Sharpel 3000 resin bonded stone. And initially, that was exactly the plan, but my poor hands just could not take it anymore. I will, however, post the result of the 3000 resin bonded stone in a later video, I promise. Anyway, despite all of these differences, my normalized result was 54% lower than Pete's. That's a very big difference. And considering I actually convex the apex, the difference is even more impressive. So this result does offer some support for the idea that aluminum oxide reduces the edge stability by exposing the harder carbides. Still, a recalculated 928 cuts is incredibly impressive. It really showcases the sheer greatness of this steel. Even at the disadvantage, it still trumps almost all other steels. I got about 100, just for comparison, I got about 100 cuts on this rope with AUS 10A, I think. That's more than a factor 10 still. And if you want to see what stropping does to an apex, look at this video to the right here. It's pretty interesting too. If you like this type of edge analysis, please subscribe, don't forget to like, and see you guys later.